getting sexually harassed sucks, but the worst news is that getting sexually harassed is only the start of a sucky journey on the suck train to Suck City. This is something that many women already understand because we've been through it and it's obvious. Unfortunately, our lived experiences aren't enough for many men to accept, so luckily, science is here to explain it to them, scientifically. Sociologists at Stanford have just published new research showing just one way in which sexual harassment can do more damage than just being extremely upsetting in the moment. Reporting sexual harassment in the workplace might make your boss less likely to promote you or give you a raise. Yes, even if the person you're reporting isn't your boss. In this study, subjects were asked to review the employee file of a woman named Sarah. In all of the files that all of the subjects reviewed, Sarah was a good worker who enjoyed her job. But in some of the files, she had reported to HR that she had been sexually harassed by a coworker. A coworker had made explicit comments about her body. Another group of subjects read that Sarah reported to HR that a coworker had shouted at her. And for a final group, there was no report of any harassment, sexual or otherwise. The subjects then answered how likely they were to give Sarah a promotion. The groups with no harassment or with the shouting harassment were pretty much equally likely to promote her. But those who read that she had reported her own sexual harassment were significantly less likely to promote Sarah. Further research indicated that the reason was because those subjects felt Sarah was less likely to be warm or to have good social skills. Because being a woman in the workplace these days means having the social skills necessary to ignore being sexually harassed. So yeah, basically you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Sarah could have kept her mouth shut and gone on being sexually harassed by her coworker, or she could give up a chance at a promotion. There is no right answer. The game is fixed. The only right answer is not to play. There is some good news, though. The researchers found that if it was one of Sarah's coworkers who reported her sexual harassment to HR, then the subjects weren't likely to punish her. They were just as likely to give her the raise. So that means that if you are a witness to sexual harassment, you can do something by saying something. See something, say something. Where have I heard that? With the permission of the victim, of course, because not getting a promotion isn't the only possible negative side effect of going public with these types of accusations. But if the victim agrees and you can report on their sexual harassment, then you could be doing them a huge, huge favor. The other good news is that the Me Too movement happened to start just after the study was concluded. When the researchers went back and reran the study to see if that movement had made any difference, they found that it actually maybe did make a difference, because after Me Too gained traction, people were less likely to punish Sarah for reporting on her own sexual harassment. In the original experiment, just weeks prior to Me Too, subjects averaged a 3.9 on a scale of 1 to 7, with 1 being not at all likely to promote Sarah and 7 being very likely to promote. So before Me Too, 3.9. After Me Too, by January of 2018, that number rose to 5.1. As with many social science experiments, there are way too many moving parts for us to know for sure that that is a result of Me Too. And not just some coincidence or due to some other social shift, or maybe it's just a result of getting more data points. And the lead researcher, Chloe Grace Hart, points out that people who speak out against sexual violence continue to be questioned and maligned. There is no guarantee that people who report sexual harassment will now be treated fairly, so it is still reasonable to worry that reporting it may harm one's career. This issue is obviously near and dear to my heart, considering that I went through hell on earth for mentioning that I was often sexually harassed by atheists and skeptics, and because I gave one particular, what I thought was a very obvious example of a strange dude asking me to his hotel room at 4 a.m. after I'd spent an entire day talking about the problem of sexual harassment. What's nuts is that The harassment campaign I withstood wasn't just a flash in the pan. It's been 8 years, and yet I still have this army of men who follow my every move and spread misinformation about me whenever they can. As an example, last week I noticed traffic from Reddit going to one of my videos, so I checked out the thread. Sure enough, there were a few dudes posting just nonstop lies. One guy says that I had spoken to the guy in the elevator previously, which I hadn't, that I claimed it was a predatory rather than an awkward incident of him not knowing what the right time to ask was, when in fact I actually made it clear in the video that the entire reason I was talking about that incident was because I think a lot of guys are just not thinking when they do these stupid things. And another guy actually quite hilariously claims that he knows I made the entire story up, of course, because I was presented with pictures of the people in the Skeptic clique in the bar before the imagined elevator incident, and I couldn't point the guy out. Was there a police interrogation that I didn't know about? Did someone show up to a lineup claiming to be me? I don't see him, officer. Someone literally just made that up. That never happened. Probably some dude bro said it in a YouTube video, and now 8 years later, dudes are still shouting about it on Reddit because someone else posted a video of me explaining the origins of the phrase Judeo-Christian values. That's what sparked this conversation. 8 years have passed, and I still don't get to just have a normal career as a science communicator online. I don't get to just talk about science and critical thinking because there will always be men lying about me in the comments. Always. I will never be able to get a mainstream job like I used to have, writing copy or whatever for a large company, because everywhere these companies look, there will be men lying about me. And why? Because I reported sexual harassment. Because I tried to stop men from sexually harassing women in the skeptic and atheist communities. And because I tried to help men get better at interacting with women they'd like to fuck. Reporting sexual harassment has so many long-lasting problems associated with it that I don't blame anybody for never mentioning anything. That said, the Stanford researcher rerunning the experiment and finding positive changes after Me Too really makes me feel a little bit better about all of this, because sure, it's never going to get better for me, ever. But by speaking out, maybe I can help change society itself so that the next woman who speaks out about it might go through just a little less shit.